super weird. Well, it literally just died on me. What up, Block fam? Welcome to the start of a very weird episode in an undisclosed location. It's very dark, very dim. There's a Harley-Davidson sitting right there beside me. So we're gonna see if this thing can get me back to Orlando. It's been setting for a long time. First things first, I'm gonna try and get this thing running. It's been setting for a while. The gas smells pretty terrible. No idea if there's a charge on it or not, if we can get it started. I'll tell you guys of the story of why I'm picking this motorcycle up, what we're gonna be doing with it. Let's go ahead and get to seeing if it has any power at all. It does have gas in the tank. I've shaken it up a bit. It smells like old gas, but sounds like a pretty full tank. Definitely not gonna be draining that. I can't remember the year of this bike, but it is a Harley-Davidson Dyna twin cam. I know you guys can't see that well. This is literally the only light that I have. Unfortunately, the garage light does not work. Hallway light's there. And this is not my house. I know you guys probably have lots of questions. Like I said, I'll explain it whenever I get on the road. It's also nighttime, so I can't even open the garage to get it out. The garage is also disengaged, so I gotta basically pop it back into place over there before I can open it and get this thing out. Hey bud, how you doing? It is a Harley-Davidson Dyna Super Glide. Has the blonde engine cases. You guys have seen this bike before briefly on the channel. Got the key here, so let's see if it's got any power to it whatsoever. The thing with these bikes is it was only a barrel key, which is kind of interesting. All right, success. It has not been plugged into a tender. I'd be curious if it cranks or not. Fuel pump prime sounds a little rough though. Sounds good, sounds healthy. That was easy, way easier than I thought. I will say, fuel gauge not working. It is an unclosed garage, so I'm not gonna totally like smoke ourselves out here. I'm gonna go ahead and get an actual tender plugged into it though. Okay, so we got the battery tender plugged in. Luckily for me, there's already a pigtail on it right in here. I'm so sorry about the lighting, guys. As like a YouTuber, somebody that like, you know, shoots videos, lighting is usually like really important, but I'm so restricted to literally just this thing. So flashing red means not charging battery. Solid red is battery charging. Flashing green is battery greater than 80%, and solid green is monitoring. Luckily, like I said, there's already a pigtail in there because I have no idea if there's any tools enough to get to the battery on this thing. Just in case, I came prepared from Orlando, brought this, which is a jumper. I'll be sure to link that in the description below. And then we also have I scooped this up from O'Reilly. Shoemaker charges 2 batteries at once. So I actually need one of these for my house to be able to charge the bikes that are in my garage as well as car batteries. Kind of needed it anyways. And then we also got another tender, which I needed for the shop. So it works out. So we're gonna go ahead and leave this charging, check on it here in just a little bit. It does sound like it has a bit of gas in it, but that gas gauge is wrong and the gas light is on. So either the fuel level sender is bad or it's just actually low on gas. Zuko, what do you think? What are your thoughts? Fingers crossed that the battery charges. I'll be back in just a little bit. All right, guys, it is the next day and we got a little bit more light in here at least. So charger over here says we are charged up. Solid green, good to go. So go ahead and unplug this thing. Should probably check the oil. Oh yeah, oil looks great. I mean, it's a little dark. Could use some changing. At least we know it's got oil in it. All right, fingers crossed that it starts up again. Fuel pump primed. I swear it sounds like it has more gas than this in it, but it might not be too much more. Oh, these bars are terrible. Max load, we have 42 psi. Definitely feels like the tire pressure is low, so we're gonna top that off. What are we at? 28. Yeah, it's pretty low. 36. That's probably pretty good actually. Rear was at 30, 31. Perfect. Oh my God, it feels so much better. There we go. 93 dead dynos. Got 2.87 gallons, 1166. Hell yeah, brothers. It's running good. Let's get on the road, see if we can get back to Orlando in one piece. T-minus 3 hours, leaving the coast right now. Handles so much better when the tire pressure is right. Whew, these brakes need to be bled. They suck. And these bars, I might just find a Harbor Freight on the way, adjust these bars, we'll see. Let's get this engine cooled down. All right, so now that we're out here on the Great Plains of Florida, back to Orlando. So we got a good couple hours to go, just starting the journey. Bike seems to be running great thus far. A lot of you guys are probably wondering, how do I have my right hand off of the throttle if there's no cruise control on this bike, right? Because it's an older bike. Well, for those of you that don't know, there's this little thing underneath the throttle right here. It's like a little star kind of thing. Not sure if you can see that, but while you're going, you can pretty much use your thumb and press that so it spins around to the right, and spinning it around to the right tightens it. And it's like this little screw or bolt almost, and that basically goes against the inside of where the throttle goes under the switch housing here. And whenever you've got it tightened, it basically keeps that throttle locked in place. So it's not cruise control because it doesn't keep you at a set speed. It's just, it keeps your throttle locked. Say I want to get a 70, I'm just going to use my thumb and right about there, and then I'm going to give it like a little turn, and then there we go. We're set right about 70 miles an hour. Now I can still grab the throttle and I can adjust it since it is a cable throttle, right? So not a throttle by wire, throttle by cable. It's just going to hold the throttle body open to that position. And so there I am at 70 miles an hour unless I hit an uphill, a downhill, and then that'll change my speed. So it's not cruise control locked at 70 miles an hour. It is literally just locking the throttle. An example, if I pull back, the throttle is still locked, but now the throttle is open more, and it's going to increase my speed a little bit. So it didn't increase it a ton, but we're like 75-ish now, so I just need to roll forward a little tiny bit, and it's going to bring it back down. So let's go ahead and talk about what this motorcycle is with the fuzzy red handcuffs on the front there. Why the hell does it have fuzzy red handcuffs? Well, I'm not really sure. You guys should ask the owner, well, the previous owner of it. I am now the new current owner. The previous owner of it was, drum roll please, my brother. So if you guys have kept up with the channel at all, you guys have seen my brother around here and there. Youngest brother, I guess I should say. I do have other brothers. He ended up basically living with my parents after he graduated high school. He came up to Orlando. He lived with me for, I want to say, a little over a year. And in that time, you know, me being me and as addicted to motorcycles as I am, he showed an interest in wanting to learn how to ride motorcycles as well. So we actually did an episode on this bike a while back, and it was basically us going to purchase the bike for him. And whenever we got it, it was super low. It had lowering links on it. It had really short suspension. We ended up raising the bike back up. We did some maintenance on it, made sure it was all good to go, and he rode this bike for a long time. So he ended up leaving Orlando, and he ended up going to work in Alaska, which is kind of funny because I did the same thing growing up. I ended up going to work in Alaska for, I was living there for a little under a year. I worked on the train for the Alaska Railroad. It was an awesome experience. Would highly recommend for anybody that is considering going up there, like maybe for a season, to go up there.
freaking beautiful. So he ends up doing the same thing. And whenever he did that, we basically kept the motorcycle at my shop, so Blockhead Garage. Whenever we kept the bike at the shop, we made sure, you know, that it was maintained on a tender, all that stuff. Well, one of the problems that we ended up having with the bike whenever he was living here is that for some reason it wouldn't really maintain a charge, and so we ended up figuring it out, and the charging system had essentially gone bad. So the battery was good, but the charging system wasn't. So we had to purchase a whole new charging system. We replaced it. Unfortunately, the one that we purchased, after replacing it, the bike was still having issues, and so it was really like, okay, what the hell? Like, we literally just replaced the charging system with the brand new one. And there's literally, like, for this bike, since it is I mean, I say older, and I know a lot of you guys are going to get triggered by me saying that. It's not like it's not like a panhead, you know, or a shovel or something like that. But, you know, in the Harley world, they do stop making parts for it after a certain amount of time. Parts are getting hard to come by on these motorcycles. The charging system is one of them, and so there was basically 2 aftermarket companies that continue to make charging systems for it. The one that we bought, we installed it, and then we ended up figuring out, after it was still having issues, that charging system, once again brand new, was bad. So we ended up buying the other brand, and we replaced it with that one, and then the bike is all good. It holds a charge. So my brother ends up basically going to Alaska and all that stuff. He comes back, he ends up getting his bike, he rides it around Orlando a bunch, and then where he was living beforehand, which is, the, you know, South Florida, where we're leaving from right now, he basically stored the bike in the garage there. He ends up coming down probably like a year later, like after he had stored the bike, probably longer than a year, to be honest. It's been in that garage for a while. All right, so you guys see how I had to, like, just, it's going down to 45, so I had to just, like, come over here and loosen it, make sure that I'm not gonna be speeding through this area, because cops around these parts, man, they're bad. They are just itching to give people a ticket, and I'm totally speeding, but the person in front of me is also speeding. So pro tip for any of you out there, you know, potentially going faster than somebody speeding, just follow them. Let them get out ahead a bit and let them get the ticket. And once you see that cop pull out to get them, just slow it down. That's a tip that my dad gave me a while back. So they're the fox and you're the hound, or what Wes called it, let them be your speed. So yeah, my brother ends up coming back from Alaska, grabbed his bike, rode it around Orlando a bunch. He was basically kind of in this in-between after going to work in Alaska, and he was like, okay, well, like, where am I going to live? Am I going to live in? One of his options was Washington State, and the other option was back down here in Florida. Because of where he's at, and it's most beneficial for him to live up in Washington State, so that's what he chose. He's been wanting to get it up to Washington State. Now, here's the story behind whenever we purchased the motorcycle. I know I'm all over the place here, guys. I'm sorry. I apologize. He was like under 21 whenever he came to live with me in Orlando for a bit, and he got interested in motorcycles. Now, I don't know if any of you guys remember, like, whenever you're under 21 years old, but you're not making like a ton of money. So he was working in a restaurant, and actually Ace Cafe. He was working at Ace Cafe Orlando whenever it was still open. For those of you that don't know, Ace Cafe Orlando did close. Huge loss for the motorcycle community, unfortunately, but he was working there as a cook, ended up working his way up to be sous chef. Super talented. Good job, bro. Super proud of you, man. Anyways, so whenever he was living with me, basically the deal was like, hey, yeah, like, you can get out of that, like, small town that you're in South Florida, and you can come up here, live in Orlando, get some experience under your belt, get to see what, like, living up here is like. He ended up taking a motorcycle safety class, ended up passing it, flying colors, all that good stuff, and then we started looking for a motorcycle, so we picked this one up. So the deal was, I will front you the money for the motorcycle and just treat me like the bank. Give me payments for it. So rather than you have to make payments to a bank, or like, nobody's gonna give you a loan for an old motorcycle because you're young, basically has to build his credit, which, I mean, we've all been there, right? Like, I went to go buy a car one time and they're like, yeah, you have no credit. I'm like, and then I started playing the credit game. So yeah, that was pretty much the deal. This is gonna be your payment per month. It's gonna take you this long to pay it off, cool. And it's due on this day every month. And so we did that, and he paid me for a good couple months until Christmas came around, and then I was like, hey bro, don't worry about paying me anymore. I will go ahead and pay off the rest of your motorcycle, if you will. I mean, like I said, I already paid it. And it was a good chunk left, and so I just basically, like, gifted him the rest of the motorcycle. He was super appreciative. It's one of the few times that I've seen him tear up. Got a big old hug. You know, and I was just really super happy to be able to do it, honestly. Like, there's been a couple motorcycles, essentially, like, It's like a motorcycle giveaway, right? But it's a motorcycle giveaway that you guys never heard about. And I've done that a couple times. I've purchased motorcycles that y'all have no idea about and given them, because I love motorcycles. Like, at the end of the freaking day, like, it's just, I have such a passion and enthusiasm for these machines, what they represent, like the opportunities that they can give us, like what they can lead to. Just freaking love them. And to be able to like give that opportunity to my brother, to me it was just like, hell yeah, man, like I'm happy to be able to do this. So that's how we ended up getting the motorcycle for my brother, how I gifted it to him for Christmas. Yeah, the whole kind of origin story behind it. He was really debating on whether taking this motorcycle and having it shipped up to Washington. He was down here visiting, and I was talking to him about the bike, and he's like, yeah, I feel terrible. The bike has literally just been sitting in the garage over there. And he's like, I really feel bad about letting it sit, because I know that's one of the worst things you can do to motorcycles. And really it is. Like, everything starts to go bad, you know. It starts like the gas starts to go bad. That's the first thing you gotta start to worry about. The battery, you know, if you don't have it on a tender, like literally one of the worst things you can do to these machines is let them set. They need to be run. You got to get fresh fluids through them. You got to maintain them. As long as you run them and just like do that normal maintenance, like, they're golden. But you have to run them. Whoa, that was super weird. What the hell just happened there? Anyway, so my brother's a very creative person. He likes drawing a lot, and one of the things that I set him up with while he was over, with an iPad Pro. So I had an iPad Pro, and my whole thought process was, you know, with my design background and my creative background, I was going to start like taking pictures of the bikes that we build, and I was going to basically like make them into like illustrative drawings so that we could put them on the backs of shirts and do releases and stuff. Well, what ended up happening was, you know, I bought the iPad Pro, I bought the Apple Pencil thing, and I ended up getting to work on like one t-shirt design, and then it just kind of fell by the wayside because, man, it is hard to find time to do stuff with running a business. Finding time to be able to run the business, you gotta spend your time wisely. Illustrating for stuff for stickers was not the best use of my time, unfortunately. With him being very creative, I basically had this iPad Pro laying around whenever he came to visit. I was like, hey man, you like drawing? Like he freaking loves drawing. He's really, really good at it too. I was like, here, take this thing, like mess around with it. He was like drawing on it constantly, coming up with really cool shit. So it came time for him to go back home, back to Washington State, and he was giving me the iPad back, and I'm like, you know what, you hold on to it for now, use it for the next couple weeks, and then when you bring it back, like, show me what you've done. And I was like, and the cost or the charge for that, draw me like something for a motorcycle that I can use on a t-shirt or something. That anyways. Yo, what the hell? I think that's a loose terminal. I'm gonna have to figure that out. Yeah, that's a loose terminal, I think. So yeah, he ended up coming back down. He really enjoyed the iPad, and then he was like, since I feel so bad leaving the motorcycle in storage and stuff, he's like, how about I trade you the motorcycle for the iPad Pro? And I'm like, I literally just like stuck my hand out, and I was like, shake on it. I'm like, deal. You got yourself a deal. So that's how I ended up with the bike. So yeah, it's the newest addition to the stable. Anyways, I gotta get that like little stutter thing figured out. Honestly, I'm pretty confident that is a loose connection on the battery terminal, because it feels like it dies. Either that or the key is jiggling loose a little bit, which it could be too. So probably be beneficial to pull over like auto parts store or something like that, O'Reilly or AutoZone or whatever.
A few moments later.
Well, it literally just died on me. So I need to push it out of the way. Oh, it's totally the terminal. I just banged on the side. I guarantee it's a terminal. Let's see if we can find a screwdriver. Damn it. Oh my god, they got a flathead, but no Phillips. I don't know if I can use that. Oh, bam, perfect. Okay, we got a ratchet screwdriver set. I don't know why it's ratchet. Should think more highly of itself. I'm kidding. Ooh, this is close to the exhaust. Whew, spicy. Yep, that thing is loose as hell, man. Look at that. That'll do it. Hit them both for good measure. Perfect. Okay, hopefully that does the trick. Let's get everything back together. This screwdriver is terrible, but as long as it saves me. Hello. Screwdriver ratchet set. Saves the day. So much better.
Hell yeah, she feels great. We're back in business, boys. Woo!
Alright guys, it made it to the shop. So here we are with the new to us 06 Dyna Superglide. That was my brother's. I cannot believe I literally traded him an iPad for a Harley-Davidson. It's crazy, right? I wasn't using it and he's like way more hands-on artistic than I am, so I hope it's getting some great use from him. This will get some great use from us. We did post a picture of this recently. It's a couple companies on board to help us build this thing out. As you guys can see, we have already gotten started. We are going to be installing a Blockhead exhaust on this thing. So you guys have been asking for a while. We do have a Blockhead exhaust coming out for it, and we are basically mid-install. We took the stock one off, the slip-ons and stuff. Sounded pretty good, but it's gonna sound better whenever we're done. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys would want to see on this bike. It is going to be a lot different than our more recent content, but if you've been watching for a while, you know in the very beginning, I would be very methodical about filming videos and showing how to do everything and going through basically doing everything, you know, very like step by step. So the exhaust is going to be that first one that we're doing because we want to make it sound better. We also want it to perform better. If there's other stuff that you guys want to see, you know, handlebars, crash bars, tuning, what else should we do to this thing?
Suspension?
Suspension?
I mean, I guess it depends on the use case, talking about burnouts.
Yeah, like stunting it out.
Maybe not wheelies.
Doing some burnouts, some rolling burnouts, maybe some little baby wheelies. So Crucie's on board to help out, so we'll throw like a K-bar on there, lean on him, kind of give him a shout maybe in like a future episode talking about, hey, we got this Harley. What's really funny is he actually recently posted that he got a Dyna. It's an 05, and it looks damn near identical to this one, which is like the second or third time him and I have done that without talking to each other beforehand. It's super funny. Another company that's on board, whenever we posted our photo, Thrash and Supply, Lance reached out, sent me a text, and he was like, yo, let me know if you want to throw any thrashing parts on there. We're totally down to rep some thrashing on here because they make great shit. So big shouts to Lance, appreciate you. We got a seat already set up for it, obviously, because you got to have a great seat, especially a seat that holds you in. Solid, tried and true, Saddleman, air cleaner, because this one looks, look at this thing. Look at that. Do us a favor, comment down below, let us know what you want to see. Let us know if you're excited to see a Dyna back on the channel. We did the build off with Crucie, and you know, it's a 24 Harley-Davidson 135, supercharged, just f***ing like big. It's nice to come back to something like this where it's a little bit more grounded, you know? Like I'm kind of, I wouldn't say tired of doing like that stuff, but super not attainable, right? For a lot of people. And so this is gonna be something that's like attainable, relatable, especially if you guys are interested in, you know, kind of going along that path and learning how to do burnouts and, you know, some rolling burnouts and shit. Justin knows how, so Justin can teach me. Give me a few pointers.
Let's run it, dude.
Hell yeah. Hope you guys are stoked. If you enjoyed the video, do me a favor, hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, hit subscribe. Hit the bell icon so it sends you notifications of future uploads and activity. Until next time, ride safe out there. Stay vigilant. Ooh. Let me clean this thing. Catch you guys on the next one. Peace.